Who am I? The girls them sugar. Who am I? The girls them sugar. Welcome. This is the Who Am I Pod. We are your hosts, King CJ, Kevo Ren. King, how you doing?
I'm good, man. Shout out to Joe Biden for hitting that pardon. So you see your boy free now. I ain't in the dungeon no more.
Yeah,
so shout
it's
out to the
lit.
pardons.
It's lit. Yeah, we needed that. We also need that 2K. I don't have to put a snip in the video of you saying that several times, Joe Biden. I don't need to put that in there saying, all right, I'm just saying. But
if your last name Biden and your first name Joe, I need my stimulus, ho.
I need. So you're out the basement, but you still borrowing, all right? So you out the basement, but you still borrowing. You still borrowing, all right? So listen, man. Besides the stimmy that we need, Joe, I'm just saying. Besides the stimmy that we need, Joe, we got a loaded podcast for us today. Today we're gonna talk about a little bit about last week you talked about Deshaun Watson and kind of what was going on with his situation. We're gonna talk about some of the backlash that came from that, whether they be Dick Vermeil or Brett Favre. We're gonna go on and talk about Courtside Karen, big topic that was going on this week. And going forward for this podcast as far as the YouTube channel, we're gonna try to do some reacts to these videos. So you'll see how we react to these videos as well as the topics that we're talking about. So you can either go either or, whether you want to see the video that we react to it or you want to see the podcast as we talk about it and kind of explain it a little bit better. Either or is great for us, but the react is going to be a little bit shorter than what the podcast is going to be. So pick your poison is what I'm saying. But we're going to go ahead and talk about a little bit of music. So King, you want to start us out? I know you got a couple singles. So I just want to say, King, stay with the music. If y'all come here for music, bruh, I got it, but King really got it. So if y'all really want to come for the music, King is gonna be the one that you really want to listen to. Cause I'm gonna talk about some music, but King gonna talk about some music. So King, let's go ahead and listen to what you got to say.
Yeah, man. I love music, bro. I love music. But I'm gonna start off with my dog, Moneybagg Yo. There's a couple people that when they drop, you gonna hear me talk about it. And Moneybagg Yo is one of those people, man. And I think he dropped a song called Time Today, and he actually dropped it in the middle of the week. But I just feel like Moneybagg Yo is one of the most consistent artists when it comes to his lane and when it comes to what he does. And I think but the Baby had a big criticism of, all your songs sound the same. And to the point where he got so insecure where he just tried to, I'm not going to say he did, but it seemed like he felt as though he needed to prove that he can make more than just that one song, to the point when the new criticism is like, go back to what we love you for. And I think he's kind of getting back to his original sound. Whereas though certain people, kind of like the Griselda, kind of like Moneybagg Yo, kind of like Dolph, kind of like Gucci, whereas though you know exactly what you're going to get from a song from them, and that's okay. It might sound a little bit the same, but they carved out their own lane in that space to where it's going to be good. I think with Moneybagg Yo, what he did with this track, nothing spectacular. It's not going to go number one or anything like that, but it's just good, consistent, solid type of music. And, it's just what I expect from a Moneybagg Yo song. Excuse me. So Moneybagg Yo, Time Today, that's a good track if you want to check that out.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with mine's gonna be this single's gonna be pretty short. I Don't Want to Be in Love. It's a single by Keisha Cole. It's been a little bit for me since I've heard of Keisha Cole. So I was kind of surprised about hearing from this, and I'm gonna be honest with you. Starting off this track, I didn't really think it was hitting like that, but she really got into her bag a little bit. About 30, 45 seconds to the song, she really started getting into her bag, and it made me kind of feel good about hearing Keisha Cole again, because we just recently watched the Ashanti Keisha Cole battle, and going on from that, I just kind of felt like, man, I would love to hear some new music from this. And Ashanti been dropped. Ashanti been out here in the public. Keisha Cole really hasn't really been out here like that. And I may be wrong, but correct me if you will, but Keisha Cole really hasn't been out here like that. Not even just music, just in general, just in the public. She hasn't really been out here like that. And since that battle, it was good to hear from her to just, solidify that we know who she is. And this is what it was. We knew what it was from Keisha Cole. We knew that she had the vocals to do this, and she did that. And so I'm appreciative of it. I don't have a lot to say about it because again, it's Keisha Cole. She's been out for forever. I don't know if she's ever dropped a bad song. That's how good her career is. I don't know if she ever dropped a bad song. To me, she may have lost that battle. Who am I? But going forward, she won this round as far as I don't want to be in love, and it's just a song basically about her just not wanting to be in love with the person that she's currently involved with, and it's just a good track for me. So listen to that. That's Keisha Cole. I don't want to be in love.
Yeah, so it's dope. The thing about like R&B artists is like they can get old and still not old, but they can get older and still come back and still get that same talent. Whereas like rappers and stuff, like as they get older, they get more and more corny, and like their lane in the space kind of like dwindles, so to speak. So you got to find a specific lane to be in as you get older. People like Ashanti, people like Keisha Cole, they can, we talked about Jasmine Sullivan. She's not old, but she's an older artist. They can come back, find a lane, and just, pick up where they left off. So that's dope. Well, she was able to do. I'll stick in the R&B lane, and I'll go with Lucky Day and Tiana Major 9 with On Red. So we talk about R&B on here so much because it just seems like every week, I said this before, it's going to be at least one good song. It's going to be a good album, whereas the quality is just so consistent in the R&B lane. And I think that we look at people like Drake or Kendrick or even Kanye, some people would think we want them to drop so bad because it's been a while since we really talked about a hip hop album, like a major A-list celebrity dropping a hip hop album. But with R&B, it seems like consistently there's a level of quality of music that's just apparent. So for people like Lucky Day, I feel like he needs to kind of jump back in the game a little bit because even he is feeling like it's been too long since he dropped a project because his Painted album came out in 2019, but even those mixtapes that he combined to make that album really started back in 2018. So it's really necessary in my mind for him to kind of cement himself and get back into that mix because you have so many people in the game right now. You got Sir, you got Kiana Lede, you got Summer Walker, you got SZA, you got Snow Allegra, you got Tone Smith who's coming up. You got so many people vying for a spot to be in this R&B lane when it's so crowded. You got to be more consistent. So I'm glad that he dropped this song. It's a really good song. Lucky Day is just another consistent artist where I see him. I know I'm going to like the song, so I want to tune in. But this one is no different. So Lucky Day and Tiana Major 9 on Red. Good song.
Yeah. I'm gonna listen to it. I ain't listen to it yet, but I'm gonna listen to it. If Lucky Day name is on, I'm going ahead and pop that off. So, my next single is Up by Cardi B. It's a little bit different for me to be talking about Cardi B on here, and I know I've had some harsh criticism of Cardi B in this podcast, but this was actually surprising. It sounded really good to me. That's a shocker. It sounded really good to me. Now, is it something that I'm going to listen to forever? No. And that was kind of my criticism, right? Like Nicki Minaj had music, and I'm just thinking of like female hip hop when I say this. I'm just comparing a little bit. Nicki Minaj had some songs that I would want to listen to, mostly because of the features, but sometimes because she just was snapping on that thing. Meg Thee Stallion would have some music that I would want to listen to, sometimes because of the features, but sometimes because she was snapping on that thing. Cardi B music never really resonated with me. It just didn't really sound like something I would listen to on a daily basis. So this song was kind of surprising to me. I don't know if it's actually resonating with the public as I think she thought it might, but it is pretty good. It is a pretty good single. And I'm with it. You know what I'm saying? I'm with it. I'm with supporting her. I'm with supporting her songs when they're good. So Up by Cardi B, it's a good single to me. It has a good beat, and that's main one thing. And the Ghost Rider's going hard. Who am I? the Ghost Rider's right, dog. That's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? So who am I?
Yeah, it's she's starting to go into a lane where it's like, okay, she might be like here for a while. Because like with the album with Bodak Yellow, like her first album, she kind of like skyrocketed up, and now we were kind of like waiting for her to fall off. And I think that first song she released after was it was either Money or like Press. Those didn't really take off like she wanted to, but then WAP came, and then WAP was just a huge success. And then with this, it's like you're starting to see the quality of music come up. Is it up there with Nicki, like during her run? Nah, but I think it's we often do it just because it's not that many female artists, and I think sometimes it's unfair for her always to compare her to Nicki or her to Meg Thee Stallion, and we always put them against each other. But it's just a point of reference. And Nicki was so astronomical where she was at a point where like, yo, she might be better than all these dudes or half these dudes. She might be top 5 rappers like right now, like regardless of their gender. And I don't think we really look at Cardi that way. But Cardi can definitely make a song that's going to hit. She can definitely make a song that's going to go. And I think this is another one of them. So shout out to Cardi for that. So my last single is it's not really one single. It's kind of a three-pack release, so to speak. And they're all old singles that just came to digital platforms. So that's Jid with, he dropped a song with Conway the Machine called Ballads. He dropped a song called Clutter. And then he dropped a remix to a song, Bruh, with Denzel Curry. And like I said, most of these songs, if not all of these songs, are pretty old. The Ballad song with Conway the Machine actually came out or leaked or is on YouTube going back to November of 2020. The Clutter freestyle actually was out back in October 2020. And then Bruh is a remix of a song that actually came out in 2017. So this isn't really like new music, so to speak, to where it's like brand new Jid. I'm not really sure what's going on, but it's good to have these songs come to digital platforms. And I feel like Jid is, in my opinion, when it comes to talent, he's up there with the best of his generation. Like when it comes to bars, when it comes to like not singing like a R&B singer, but like can find a melody, can make a harmony or whatever, and just can make a good quality song. Jid is up there for me. And I caught myself questioning like, why isn't he more like to the forefront? Like we know about Lil Baby. Like Lil Baby is arguably the best rapper of this new generation. We know about the Dirks. We know about all these people, but Jid seems to fill in that lane for like the new age of Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole. And I'm wondering like, why isn't he, praised in that level? Because the talent level is there. And I just think I don't know if as far as either marketing or just him expressing himself or revealing more about himself, I don't really know who Jid is. I know he's talented. I know he can make a great song. I know I like his music and I might even love his music, but I don't really know him. And I think that's the next step that he probably should take to put himself from just, yo, he's dope and I have a niche audience to, yo, he's one of the best out here. Because it's like, I've seen Lil Baby had these moments, even to where something like him dapping up Bun B, but he got his hand on the gun the whole time. Like even something like that just lets me know a little bit more about who Lil Baby is. I really haven't seen those type of moments with Jid. So great quality music. Definitely go check these out. Again, as Ballads, Clutter, and Bruh remix. But I think that now is the time for Jid to kind of make that run to just prove he's one of the best out here.
New songs is hard. that's all I got. Them songs is hard. If you haven't listened to them yet, you should listen to them. For Jid to go on somebody like Kanye the Machine and actually like bar for bar with him, that's all I need to say, bro. That's all I need to be said, bro. If you haven't listened to those songs already, it's time to listen to them. Only reason me and King kind of reacted to it this way because they came out a while back. They just recently hit the DSP. So listen to them if you haven't listened to them.
Yeah. Don't let my critique of like him as an artist. It's just like he's now at the stage where I know he's going to deliver great music. Kind of what I said with Moneybagg or how we said about Lucky Day. Jid is up there. Like I don't say this lightly. He's up there to be talent-wise one of the best of this new generation. And that's a reflection of these songs.
You're not going to like this. Not you, but just our viewers, maybe. He's where I would put Tory Lanez. He has that talent. He has that. I respect that. He's where I would put Tory Lanez. So that's where we at with him.
You think he shoot Cardi enough? Who he gonna shoot?
He might.
He probably shoot Mulatto.
Ooh, somebody like Mulatto. That's not too bad, but it's bad. So The problem is we gotta wait to see, right? Because people follow, they don't lead. So Tory Lanez is still within that. He ain't beat it yet. Yeah. So we right, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to say yet either because I don't know what the outcome of that case is gonna be. But he ain't beat it. So wait to see if he beat it. Right. Then we'll see.
Gotta see it through first and like, all right, bet.
So let me get that. My next album is the pettiest album that came out this week. It's the pettiest album that came out this week. Why is it petty? Last week I talked about Party Next Door releasing kind of a comp of his songs that he had on previous EPs that he released, right? And I talked about it a little bit, and we discussed it, and we talked about how it was good or it was bad, and we did all that. But if you want to hear that, go ahead and listen to the last week episode of the Who Am I Pod. But this week, the reason why it's so petty is because there's been a thing between The Weeknd and the Party Next Door for a long time. So it would be cool, right? Because The Weeknd is actually going to be performing on Sunday on the Super Bowl stage. So he's out there. He's doing big things, especially as far as hip hop and R&B goes. He's doing huge things. So why would he have to release the highlights, which is some of his best songs from his recent albums and mixtapes, onto the DSPs, as far as Apple Music, Spotify, anything you could think of, all streaming networks, right? I don't know why he would do that outside of it being petty. Because he knows. Now, he may have thought about this already, right? He may have said that he's going to release this week, this day, because of the Super Bowl performance and everything like that. And that makes sense. Maybe he's performing a lot of these songs on the Super Bowl stage. That makes sense. But it still comes off as really, really, really petty, considering that Party Next Door did the same thing last week. And if you listen to our last week podcast, you would know that we didn't think highly of Party Next Doors. So I'm just going to go off on a limb. I'm going to say that this is petty. But at the same time, I'm going to say that this is great. Because the Weeknd did a great job of compiling his best song. It was songs on here that I didn't think would make it on here. If the Weeknd compiled his best songs onto one album, I didn't think he would put some of these songs on there. And that song's like Pray For Me. That song's like Call Out My Name. That song's like Acquainted. I definitely didn't think that those type of songs would make it on this album because, again, it's a comp of all his best songs from his last in albums and EPs. It's not just his albums. It's not just his mixtapes or EPs. It's all of that. He compiled his best songs that he thought was his best songs and put them on the album. And so it's crazy to me listening to this because I'm thinking like, man, he hit it out the park. Every one of these songs is one of these songs that I would think that was the best on those albums when they came out, and you took them off and put them on this one. That's a little bit different to me from Party Next Door because Party Next Door, there was a couple of songs on there I was thinking like, well, you could have took this out and put that one. There might be a couple that I can say that the same thing with highlights by The Weeknd, but it's not the same. It maybe it's because they're different caliber of artists. That's okay. I'm not shitting on Party Next Door. I'm not shitting on anybody. I'm just saying that's okay. They're a little bit different caliber of artists. Because why? Because The Weeknd is right now is about to perform on Super Bowl Sunday tomorrow. Party Next Door hasn't came out with an album since I know when that I said was spectacular. It's hard for me to kind of listen to these tracks back-to-back weeks and then say they're on the same lane. They're not in the same lane. This kind of proves that to me. So I don't want to talk too much about it because, again, it is old music. But, again, that's highlights by The Weeknd. If you are a Weeknd fan, I would recommend you listen to it. And that's all I got.
Yeah, it's been an ongoing thing for like the past couple years where either like party drop and then The Weeknd drop right afterwards, or like The Weeknd drop or party drop right afterwards. Kind of like Jay-Z, to where as though like every time Nas drop, Jay-Z go find a way or Beyonce go find a way to drop something right after it. So it's something there, bro. Like you said, it seems a little bit too convenient. But I will say we need to start putting some respect on The Weeknd name, bro.
Yes.
Because like I've been seeing a lot of like why is The Weeknd performing in the Super Bowl? Why is he doing that? Like, and then his album wasn't even nominated for a Grammy. His song Blinding Lights, which was number one for like a record amount of time, that wasn't nominated for a Grammy. So we need to start putting some respect on The Weeknd name, because he's one of the biggest, if not one of the of this generation. Like, he's going to go down as like a legend. So this tape kind of highlights the level of quality that Kevo was talking about. So my album is, we big Griselda over here, goes to Conway the Machine and Big Ghost LTD with If It Bleeds, It Can Be Killed. So you may not see it on digital platforms just yet, just because of the business model that people in Griselda and their affiliates use. They typically put their albums out on Bandcamp first to sell it directly to their fan base so they can actually make some money. So right now it's on Bandcamp for $12, but you can listen to it for free on that Bandcamp. I think they give you 1 or 2 plays of the album. And as always, you can find it on YouTube. But I would just highly encourage you support the artist. But I think this project solidifies, to me, Conway the Machine is the best rapper in Griselda. Like, I love Benny. And I think that he makes the best music to kind of bridge the gap to where he gets a more modern sound and a more digestible sound and kind of combines it with high level raps. But when it comes to bar for bar, I don't think anybody's better than Conway the Machine. Like, his wordplay, his consistency, and his ability to make a song it's top tier. And I think that my biggest thing where I said, like, even I just said it, like, Benny, people give the nod to Benny is because he's able to reach out to people like Hit Boy. He's able to make songs that just kind of go into a playlist, and it doesn't really take you out the mood of what you're already listening to. Whereas though, if you put on some Conway, it's like you just got to stay in that lane so that you don't, kill the vibe. Whereas though, I think he's moving on to making the better, like, produced songs, or he's having a more digestible sound while still keeping those bars, still keeping that wordplay. And he started off the project with like a skit, or just like a commencement speech, so to speak. And he was talking about, well, not him, but the person was talking about bringing guns to school and having to go through metal detectors, and use that as a metaphor of people that are in a classroom full of failures. If you have a D average or a C average, you're looked at as like a genius. But when you go into another school with people that are on an honor roll, the people on the dean's list, that people are actually doing this, you're not going to look the same. And then to bring that into, you talk about you or somebody else talking about the streets versus the people like Griselda talking about the streets, you're dealing with A+ students over there. We really know the game at a different level. And it might be okay for you to talk about it around people that don't really know, but you come around here and talk about it, it's a different level. And just to set the tone for a project, the album just delivered after that. And it's a short listen, only 10 songs, about 30 minutes long, but it's a great project. And this is their second project in 2 years. So last year they dropped a project, No One Mourns the Wicked. And this is just of that same quality, if not better. So shout out to Conway the Machine. To drop this many projects at this level of quality is just unmatched, in my opinion.
Yeah, it never stops, man. It literally never stops. They're still dominating. I'm still waiting on that Drake and Benny record. I'm assuming that's gonna come out on his album. But listen, man, it's hard right now to say that Conway is not the best rapper in the group. So Griselda is dominating. I don't know if we predicted this, but I'm sure we thought it might go extended on to 2021, and here it is in 2021. We're still going strong. I don't know about y'all, but January went fast as shit. Like, I don't know about y'all, but January went fast as shit, and here we are in February, and people that the same things that kind of was going on in 2020 was still going on right now. That may be for good or for worse. I had a positive shout out to 2020 last week, so if you didn't hear that, go ahead and listen to that. But it is shocking that they have went on a streak of this long. The only streaks that I can think of this long is from individuals, right? Individuals have went on this long of a streak of dominance. I don't know of a group, and you could say there's a couple groups, right, that come to mind, whether it be Wu-Tang Clan or somebody else or some things like that as far as hip hop goes. But in the new century, let's just say in the new centuries, in the 2000s, this is shocking to me, right? Young Money had a little bit of a run. You could say that Good Music had a little bit of a run. this seems as much dominant as I can imagine. So shout out to Griselda, man. They they never cease to amaze me at this point, and I don't see any reason why they stop going forward. I don't see any reason why they stop. Do you have any more albums going forward?
That's all the albums I got for this week.
Yeah. Okay, dope. All right, well, let's get into our topics. We're gonna start with Courtside Karen. So for so for those that don't know, Courtside Karen is honestly, she should be happy. She was trademarked by LeBron, so she should probably be a little bit happy, right? Like that's the type of attitude that we get on day-to-day basis. So I'm gonna give her that same energy. So she should be happy that she was trademarked. She got her 15 minutes of fame, and she's getting that right now here on a Who Am I Pod. But basically, LeBron, for those who don't know right now, a lot of people don't watch sports. Excuse me. But LeBron was in Atlanta playing the game, and a couple was sitting on the sideline. They were talking shit to LeBron. LeBron was taking out the ball. He turned around. He said something to the husband. Right, two grown men, they having some banter back and forth. The wife stands up. She says, "Hey, don't fucking talk to my husband like that," which is respectable. I understand that kind of concept. But then it kind of goes on. You would think that would be the end of it, but it kind of went on to be a little bit more. Why? Because one reason, because she put on her mask to yell at LeBron. Obviously, she can't do that sitting in courtside. If you're watching the NBA right now, you know they have super, super strict regulations right now as far as COVID, as far as masks, as far as the players, anything that you can think of as far as regarding COVID in the NBA, they are strict as hell right now. So her pulling down her mask was probably the real incident that got her kicked out. But needless to say, she did get kicked out. She went on to actually create a video. The video then stated that a lot of profanity, more than I would think. More than now, I ain't shy of profanity. I'm not scared of profanity. I say I have a lot of profanity in my language. I'm trying to kind of weed that out as I can. But she went on to say a couple words, and I'll kind of verbatim say what she said. She said that that LeBron turned around, cussed her husband out. She turned around basically and said, "Hey, don't fucking talk to my husband like that. If you talk to my husband like that, I'll fuck you up," which is laughable. We'll get into that a little bit later. She then goes on to say that LeBron said, "Hey, you sit the fuck down, you bitch." He said, "Hey," she said, "Yo, you sit the fuck down, you bitch. Don't talk to me like that, you bitch." And then they get into kind of a very, very vulgar conversation, therefore. Very wild scenario right now. It did seem like it might be something kind of small, but a lot of states aren't actually allowing fans in the stadiums, right? So Atlanta is one of them. Florida is one of them. There's Texas that allows some fans in the states, in the stadiums. There's not a lot of states that actually allow that to happen. So, and it's usually about 8%, 5%. Whether you want to look at it, you can look it up yourself. But for this scenario, it was about 8%, 8 to 5%. And it was about 1,300 to 1,500 fans in the actual stadium at the time. So for somebody to be courtside yelling at LeBron, especially while he's taking out the ball, I'm sure he heard them very, very, very clear, because there's not a lot of fans in that stadium. These stadiums hold 20,000, 10,000, 50,000, depending on where you're at. They hold a lot of people. So I'm sure he heard exactly what they were saying. So I'll go off of my kind of initial thoughts, but I do want to pass off to King because I explained it. What exactly did you feel about Courtside Karen, about LeBron, the way he responded to it, and about the media, about how they react to it after the situation?
I feel like LeBron James lives rent free in so many people's minds. It's ridiculous, bro.
Yep.
Like, people have made entire careers off of talking about LeBron, hating on LeBron, saying that, discrediting LeBron. It's just crazy. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like the Floyd Mayweather effect, where people will tune in just to see him fail. People want to see or go to the games just to see him fail. Just so, they want him to get to the finals just so he can lose, so they can always bring up the man behind me like, that's the real GOAT. You know what I mean? He's the real. He's not. He's better than LeBron. people want to see him get to a close game so at the end he misses the shot so they can say, oh, LeBron isn't clutch. Jordan would have made that. And this is just another example of that. Because at first it looks like just LeBron getting into a spat with these fans, but it came out that the husband, I think his name is Chris Carlos, he actually had social media posts going all the way back to 2017 talking about how much he hated LeBron. And I can't, look at him. He almost sat on my big wallet. Or can you tell in my face how much I hate this man? So it's like, you could tell it's some deep-rooted hatred coming from one side of it. So just to see this level of disrespect coming is just a testament to how polarizing LeBron is as a player. Now, I am happy that this didn't get to the levels of disrespect that we've seen in the past. Like, I think Russell Westbrook, he's been historically, like in the past couple of years, he's been getting some crazy fan interactions when it comes to disrespect, even confrontations to where fans like in his face to where he got to push him away. But just talking crazy back and forth, like I'm with that. That's an element of the sport that I miss, like having fans there, the boos, the real live reactions, and this would come with it. You know what I mean? I don't think that it should go to a point where it gets too disrespectful. Like I said, in the case of like Russell Westbrook, it got racist. So I don't think it should ever cross that line. But to the point where like, yo, shut up, I'm gonna fuck you up, da 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 da, and then Bron saying like, oh, steroid ass. Like I like that. That's a part of the sport. That's a part of the competitive nature. So in that respect, it was a refreshing reality. Like, okay, this is what sports is when you got the fans back. So I got some more topics, or some more statements, but I don't want to step on what you got to say because I'm sure you're going to elevate the conversation.
Here's my issue with the whole situation, right? Like, I understand that fans should be allowed to say what they want, but we hold, as far as just the community, just as far as the United States of America, we hold athletes to a higher standard that I don't think we should be. I'm not LeBron James. I'm not 6'8", 270. I'm not that weight. I'm not that size. I'm not that I don't have that amount of money. I don't have anything of that. I'm not going to let you sit there and call me a bitch or this and that or a hoe or a weak ass player. I'm just not going to let you do that. I can't be mad at LeBron turn around to the husband and say, shut your ass up. Shut up. Sit down and watch the game. Nobody came here to see you. Nobody came here to see your 25-year-old wife. Nobody came to see any of that. They came to see me and this game being played. So let that happen. All this that you're doing over there, shut that down. We don't need to hear that. I'm okay with that. I know a lot of people, I've seen a lot of comments. I even talked to some of my friends that I have, and they agree that, hey, LeBron he shouldn't even respond to that. He has to be a bigger person. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. There's no reason why he should. He's a human being just like me and you. And if somebody is over there talking crazy out the side of their neck like they are, then I'm going to say something to him. And that's just it. If I would do it, I can't just sit here and be like, well, our athletes are held to a higher standard. No, they're not. They're human beings just like we are. They're grown men like we are. I'm not about to sit on the court and be disrespected. We're going to talk about this a little bit later, but they pay me to play basketball. They don't pay me to shut my mouth. I don't know why people think that. I don't know why people think that anywhere. Nobody in the history of the United States, well, let me be clear. Since about a certain time, has anybody paid you to shut your mouth? Especially not here in 2021. So I can speak just how I want. I'm a human being. I get paid a lot of money. I'm gonna say what I want to. I'm gonna say what I want to, and you're not going to just talk to me any type of way. I don't want to hold athletes to a higher standard. They're not at a higher standard. They're human beings. They just happen to be very blessed at playing the sport of football or basketball or golf or tennis or whatever you can think of. Just because you paid a certain amount of money to sit there and watch them doesn't mean you have the ability to actually cuss them out, say whatever you want to them. They're still human beings. And if they hear you and they respond to you, I respect that. Because I wouldn't allow that if I was sitting on that court doing the same thing. So you cannot sit here and tell me that LeBron James was wrong. That's it. That's all I got to say. I seen a lot of comments that were saying things about LeBron sensitive, LeBron doing this, and LeBron doing that. I don't give a fuck about none of that. If that's sensitive, then it be what it be. Because if somebody was calling me the same thing, if somebody was saying the same thing to me, then I would turn around and say the same thing that he said. Shut your ass up, sit down, sit your ass down, whatever the case may be. There's no real evidence that him calling her a bitch or saying bitch sit down or anything like that. There's no evidence of that. We've heard the audio. I'm hoping King heard the audio. I'm sure he did. So with all that being said, I'm past the point of actually listening to people tell me that LeBron or this and that should be held to a higher standard. They should. If you think that LeBron is a bad face of the league because of situations like this, then show me a better one. That's what I would say. Show me a better one. Because there's been plenty of faces of the league, whether it be Kobe, LeBron, Shaq, Wilt. It could be whatever you think of. Show me one that's been better than what he has. Because what LeBron has done is shown other players in the league that we have power too. We don't just have to listen to who's paying us and then just play. And this is actually bled over into the NFL, and we'll talk about it a little bit later. But that type of sentiment is very, very, very powerful to the players. It's very powerful. You can't sit there and tell me that him actually doing what he did in Cleveland, going to Miami, Miami going back to Cleveland, Cleveland going back to Los Angeles has not been powerful for the league. Because there's a lot of players right now in the league that's in places right now they do not appreciate being. And that's to say the least. So if you have a problem with LeBron, that's fine. And same with the husband. The husband said he had a problem with LeBron. But let me be clear. LeBron don't fucking know you. This is the biggest one-sided argument that I've ever seen. You went to that seat in the Atlanta Stadium just to talk about LeBron. He didn't go in there to talk about you because he doesn't know you. So if you have a problem with that, that's fine. But don't go in there trying to insinuate that LeBron was actually had it out for you or he had it out for your wife. That's not what's going on. You came in there to talk about LeBron. LeBron didn't come in there and talk about you. So let's keep it G if we're gonna keep it anything.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think that my thing is I'm for the confrontation. Short of people things getting physical, people getting hurt, or whatever. I think we need more examples of confrontation to understand that we can disagree and still coexist. I'm not for, even though like I'm a LeBron on this, bro. Like, get your ass out. Like, people came to see me. This is not your show, or whatever. Like, yeah, you got money. Yeah, you a millionaire, or whatever, like that. But this is my show. This is my court. This is what I'm here to do. But at the same time, it's like we don't have to bully people off of social media because of these situations. We can disagree with people and not like go after them to the point where we can't allow this to happen, because that's how we drive, people underground, and then we get these secret groups or whatever. Next time we storming the Capitol. You know what I mean? We gotta be able to have an open and honest disagreement. They should be able to argue. Should they have been kicked out? I don't really think so. You know what I mean? I get it with you made a good point about pulling the mask down and, in a pandemic where they probably shouldn't even be in the arena. So that's a luxury in itself. But I think that people should be able to disagree and then stand their ground. Like, I appreciated the energy, like the IG video, talk her talk. I don't agree with her, but yo, stand your ground. Like, yo, he kicking me out, whatever, bro. I'm saying do whoop-de-whoop. But then when you got to double back and then apologize, I lost my cool, I'm sorry, now I'm going to go private on my page now that everybody know who I am, then it become weight. You know what I mean? Like, I respect if that's how you really feel, that's how you feel. Stand on that. But then when you got to double back and keep it PC, I'm not for that, because it's people that really don't like LeBron. You know what I mean? And sometimes 9 times out of 10, I might disagree with everything they say, but they might have a point one time. You know what I mean? So I feel like it should be a space where we can have a disagreement and not just cancel the person that we don't agree with. I ain't mean to go too woke, but hey, bro, let's. The hate is sometimes good. The confrontation is sometimes good.
It's like I said, it would be different if it was so many fans in there that the players couldn't hear. But LeBron made a good point, is that it was becoming something that wouldn't be stopped. They would, like, the husband wouldn't stop. This was not just the first time. This was just the time that LeBron actually said, hey, enough. So if you cause a disruption to the game, the refs are noticing it, the players are noticing it. You are just there to watch the game. You can say whatever you want. I'm sick of people saying that they paid so much, because that was her first argument in her first video, is that she paid this amount of money to sit there. I don't give a fuck how much money you paid to sit there. You do not have enough money to say what you want to these people. They're still people. They're still they're athletes. They're performing, but they're still people. You don't go to concerts and call the week. You don't go to the Super Bowl and call the weekend, hey, you bitch ass nigga. Like, hey, you motherfucker. Like, hey, you like, you don't do that. You know what I'm saying? You just don't do that. You just don't do that. So the same thing applies to when you go to a basketball game or a football game. You sit there on the court side, even though they're that close to you. You don't sit there and call them out their name and this and that, and you don't do that. It's just not what. It's just not. You didn't pay to do that. You paid to watch. You paid to watch LeBron James play. You didn't pay for the ability to call LeBron James this and that. And so her husband could be as rich as he wants. He can have a problem with LeBron as much as he wants. But like I said, it's one-sided. LeBron doesn't know who you are. You can say whatever you want, but do not disrupt the game. Because as soon as you do that, now you're causing a problem. Now you have to go. That's your fault. That's not LeBron's fault. I'm sick of people blaming LeBron for this. It's not sensitive. It's not anything like that. I'm a grown man. You're not about to call me out of my name. That's the opposite of sensitive. So say what you want. Joy Taylor said it best, actually. If you don't know who Joy Taylor is, she's on the Colin Cowherd show. She actually said on this, she said some real shit on there. But she said, as a woman that's thrown hands, not once, but multiple times, it's egregious that she would say that she would fuck LeBron James up, a 6'8", 270-pound man. Get your life together. That's enough said.
Mic drop moment right there.
Enough said. I really am sick of it. Just the idea of her. I ain't gonna speak because LeBron was petty. LeBron said, "Hey, I thought that was his daughter." I was shocked. She seemed like a adolescent, like, you know what I'm saying? Like it was a little petty. And so if you got a problem with LeBron, it may be that. But you 25 dating, he look about 50. A lot of people say you don't even look 25. You might look older. I ain't gonna say who am I. I'm not about to, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying what the people say. I'm here for the streets. I'm not saying what I said. I'm saying what the streets said. I'm saying what Twitter said. I'm saying what black Twitter said. They say you don't look 25. They say he don't look about 50. He look a little older. So who am I to say? But all I'm saying is, if you throw stones from a glass house, you allow us to go in there and look at what you got going on. And what you got going on, a little weird. But who am I?
Hey man, well said. How many how much plastic you think is she more plastic than human or more human than plastic? How much?
Well, she damn near a robot at this point. Well, her lips look crazy.
She did that Kylie Jenner lip challenge, Jay?
She did a Kylie Jenner lip challenge, never recovered.
No.
Never recovered. But listen, we ain't gonna talk just about her, because I got a couple other things to say, but not regarding to other topic, but I do got a couple other things to say, bro. Because I know you from Philly and I know you represent. If you do anything right, say we make it big. Or say you invest in the stocks, or say we retire and we just wealthy. Say whatever the case may be, because we're going to be wealthy regardless of what happens with this podcast, regardless of what happened with our careers. We're going to do something, right? Because we work hard. Mm-hmm. So we're going to be wealthy at some point. Do not buy a diamond and insert it into your head. That's all I got to say.
You tripping? All I got to look at the look. That might have been the smartest thing I've seen in the past month or so, bro.
All right, when I rob you, don't say.
Hear me out. All right?
Let's do it.
Look what we just went through with the GameStop situation, right? You know, we got people controlling our money, telling us what we could do with it, telling us how we can move it. You got banks, you know what I mean? They got all your money or whatever is in this bank. What if the bank say, no, you can't take it out? If I got $25 million on my forehead, can't nobody tell me nothing. Like, that 25 mil right here, dog. I ain't got to worry about no bank. I ain't got to worry about no GameStop. I ain't got to worry about Robinhood. I can take that to the bank right now, boy. And it's easy. How many times you lose your keys? How many times you lose like your earbuds or something like that? You can't lose it if it's on your forehead.
But I can't take it.
Work smarter, not harder.
If it's on your forehead. I'm just saying, I can't take it if it's on your forehead. Right or wrong?
Not if I put it in my forehead.
Well, it'd be a lot of blood. But me with my pistol can still take that damn diamond out of your forehead. Guaranteed. It ain't going to take much effort for me to snatch that.
I respect it.
I'm just saying, bro.
It's ridiculous.
I'm just saying, bro. Do not, under any circumstances, put a diamond in your forehead. I know you respect what Philly artists are doing, but do not, under any circumstances, put a diamond in your forehead. You got a bald head, too, because you could probably look like, goddamn. You might look like...
I'm going to get a diamond hairline. I hear the hairline said, you can't get better than the diamond hairline. Woo.
Bro, Louis Vert look ridiculous. That's my whole point. He looked
imagine if I pull
ridiculous.
up with a black diamond hairline.
Also, that diamond is not $21 million, bro. That diamond. Man. Do you believe that diamond is $21 million?
No, bro. That's big cat.
$21 million?
Big cat.
Who am I? But you know what? That big cap will lead to him getting robbed. If you got 21... Go ahead.
It's going to be like the Avengers movie when Thanos grabbed Vision and he plucked that thing out, dog. It's a wrap.
Dog, come on.
I don't think it's worth that much. I think that's just, Uzi know how to make headlines.
Yeah.
He knows how to drum up the headlines. So I think that was just another way to do it.
Bruh, I'm not getting that in my head, bruh. Tripping. But
man, don't go to the bank, go to the forehead. I got tons of forehead space, so I might put a little bit here, a little bit here.
I put a couple of them things on there. Couple of them things. Well, listen, man. Louis Vert may have been tripping, but Brett Favre was tripping as well. And if you listen to our last week podcast, you heard us talking about a little bit about Deshaun Watson and his situation going on. So we don't have to re-explain it. But Brett Favre went on to say, somebody asked him what he thought about the Deshaun Watson situation. And he had a couple of different statements. I'm not going to say verbatim. I don't have them pulled up right now, but please look them up if you could. If you actually watch on YouTube, I'm going to try to put a little bit of a split of what he actually said in here. If you listen on our podcast, which a lot of you do, I'm going to try to explain it the best I can. Brett Favre went on to say basically that he was wrong. Although he did say at the end that he wasn't wrong. So let me explain. He said that Deshaun Watson gets paid too much money to have an opinion. Right? Too much money to have an opinion. And that's basically the whole statement that he said that I kind of want to go off of from here on out. He said a lot more. Don't get me wrong. If you want to listen to it, go ahead and listen to it again. If you YouTube, you'll hear it. If you're a podcast, I'm going to explain it. But basically what he said was, you get paid too much money to have an opinion. Which is a little bit confusing for Brett Favre to say, right? And I usually don't tackle the messenger, right, King? Like, we don't attack the messenger with what they got to say, right? So
attack the argument, not the person.
But the argument is not sound. The person that's delivering it is even less sound. Because in 2007, you requested a trade, Brett Favre. In 2008, 9, and 10, a lot of people said that you held the Green Bay Packers hostage. You retired once, came back, went to the Jets, then retired again, went to the Vikings. You were the first. A lot of people argue you were the first diva quarterback. The first. So why is it good for you to do that, but not good for Deshaun Watson to do that? He should just do what he's told. He should just be an employee like he is. Why is it good for you to have say in what the organization do? Because again, in 2007, you requested a trade. Why? Because they didn't get Randy Moss. and ended up being with Tom Brady and the Patriots. That's the reason, right? So you didn't have a say in that. You requested a trade because of that. Deshaun Watson doing the same thing. He had the best wide receiver in the league. They traded him. He played a whole year. Said, I'm the best quarterback in the league. Led the league in passing. Dominated the league. Say, you know what? I'm good. I don't want to be here anymore. Matt Stafford does the same thing the same year. He's out of there. I didn't hear you say anything about Matt Stafford. I didn't hear anybody say anything about Matt Stafford. So let me get this straight. So you want Deshaun Watson to go through what Matt Stafford did. Well, let's be clear. Matt Stafford played for a lot more years than Deshaun Watson did in a bad organization. I agree with you on that. But is that what we want? We want our great stars to play in bad organizations and just get ran over and beat up? I don't even have to list as many injuries that Matt Stafford went through. That's all public record. We can see how many injuries Matt Stafford went through. So we see how much he went through in Detroit. We see Detroit wasn't going anywhere. He said, for my future, I want a trade to get to another team that's ready to win. He did that. Nobody said anything. Carson Wentz is doing the same thing right now. I didn't hear you say anything about him. There's many players in the league right now that's quarterbacks or used to be quarterbacks or in the Hall of Fame right now that did the same thing that Deshaun Watson do right now, but yet you have a problem with Deshaun Watson doing it. I can't understand why. I don't know why. I'm not going to go with racism, but if I did, I might have a little bit of argument. That's all I'm saying. And then there's another person. Hold on, give me a second. Let me pull it up. Let me see. Dick Vermeil. Dick Vermeil has something to say. Dick Vermeil said, "Oh, they should change his diaper." Dick Vermeil, you 83 years old. I usually respect my elders. Brett Favre, I usually respect my elders. But listen, I done had a little bit of something to drink today. So let me tell you something. Shut your old bitch ass up. Fuck you. That's what I got to say. Shut your old bitch ass up. I ain't asked you shit. I don't give a fuck what you think about nothing. The day you was in the NFL, Dick Vermeil, motherfucker was damn near still slaves. They ain't had no power at all. That's what was going on. Thank God you ain't the coach still today. Because why? Because you're 83. You'll probably die on the sideline. I ain't got nothing to say to you, bro. You done said a lot of foul shit. You the same person that said T.O. shouldn't be in the NFL because he was a little bit belligerent in his time in the NFL. Dick Vermeil, shut the fuck up forever. I ain't said that, but Charlamagne said that, but I'll say the same thing. Shut the fuck up forever. Nobody asked you shit. The time that you was in the NFL coaching was in the 60s? This ain't the 1900s. Nobody asked you anything. We're not slaves. Just because the Houston Texans owner owns the Houston Texans does not mean he owns Deshaun Watson. He can say whatever the fuck he wants. He's his own entity. He signed a contract with you. He doesn't like the way that contract is being handled. He asked for a trade. The fact that Brett Favre said that we get paid too much money to have an opinion is the exact opposite reason why we should have an opinion. They get paid too much money to not have an opinion. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So if you broke, you can't have an opinion. You're rich, you can't have an opinion. So when can you? Dick Vermeil said, "Oh, you can only have an opinion if you own a team." Well, you know that's not a reasonable goal. Same with Wall Street. Y'all knew that wasn't a reasonable goal when y'all said, "Oh, well, y'all should just play by the rules." Y'all knew that's not a reasonable goal. Why? Because the rules are not set for us to play by the reasonable goals. Show me a black owner. You know that's not a reasonable goal. That's why you said it. So who am I to say that you are either A, colorblind, B, racist, or D, just completely incompetent in the ways of what's going on in 2021? I'm not going to say which one it is. It may be D, all of the above, but I don't really know. But King, I've said enough. Tell me what you think.
I think we need to just have a moment of silence to let's clear the air real quick.
I'm just saying, bro. Let me go ahead and have me a drink.
Didn't he? Boy dropped a bomb, didn't he?
I'm just saying, man. Let me have me a drink. Maybe I'm wrong. Who am I?
Oh man!
If I don't have nothing to say, I should own a podcast. Oh, excuse me, we do.
Yeah, I can't disagree with any of your sentiments. I can't disagree, and don't take anything that I'm gonna say to bring up the argument as a disagreement or a validation of who they are or what they said. Mm-hmm. But like we said in the beginning, I try not to attack the person, however valid that attack is. Like Kevo's critique is very valid, so don't take my taking a different approach as like undercutting his point, because I agree wholeheartedly in what he said. It's just, I think that what gets lost in that is the actual argument. And I think it's a conversation to be had. Is it a conversation to where I feel like Deshaun is wrong? No. But there is a valid critique of where do we draw the line of an athlete that signs a contract and then decides midway through, I'm not going to honor that contract. Now, we discussed at length last week. I agree with Deshaun Watson. I think what he's doing is monumental in how he can give power to the athlete in a system, in a world where typically they are treated as products. So I'm not saying that I don't agree with his stance, but at a certain point, there is a valid argument. Bro, you just signed a 4-year deal in September of last year. Now you feel as though because of roles, responsibilities, and obligations of people that do things outside of your control, you feel as though you don't want to be here anymore. Now, again, I don't feel like somebody, especially somebody like Deshaun Watson, like I said last week, who can be a generational talent, somebody who could be top 3, top 2 quarterback in the NFL, probably top 10 all time. I don't think that they should waste their career being loyal to a franchise that's never going to get them to a Super Bowl, that's never going to get him to be a champion. But at the same time, I don't feel like we should just throw away the responsibilities, the rights, and the benefit of the doubt of these owners and of these general managers just because they're not on the field as well. Because just in the event that, yes, they struck gold on Deshaun Watson, they took a lot of risk on Deshaun Watson. They paid a lot of money to Deshaun Watson. And yes, they might not be handling that situation very well. Some would argue even historically bad. They still have it's their job to figure it out with the pieces that they have in play. Do I agree with how they handle it? No. Should they still have DeAndre Hopkins? Yes. Should they probably be removed based on their previous conduct, the previous comments? Probably so. But at the end of the day, it's bigger than just them. That's why I tried to attack the argument, not the person, because it's bigger than just them. I feel like if I was an owner and I did make some mistakes or whatever, we signed a contract. Just rock with me for the next 4 years. I got you on $160 million as long as you hold your end up, but let me try to figure this out. And if that's something as a player that you don't see yourself willing to fulfill, then don't sign that contract, to be completely honest, because once you start to break that contract, then you draw a valid criticism. Now, I'm not saying it's the right thing to do, but it is a dangerous precedent to set, because if you don't deliver on your end of the contract, they still have to pay you. And that's a level of risk as well. If you get hurt or whatever, there are probably some precautions or some stipulations in there to where they don't have to pay you as much. But at the same time, they're agreeing to pay you, and you not holding up your end, on a performance level, they still are obligated to pay you. And which is the Eagles are in that situation with Carson Wentz. Paid them all that money. We the worst team, one of the worst teams in the league, but you still gonna get your money. But as much as I agree with Deshaun Watson's cause, I agree with his sentiment, and I don't want to see him throw his career away, we can't ignore the valid criticism of, bro, you signed this contract. At what point are you going to honor that contract, or are we just supposed to step back because you don't like it here no more? I think that's a valid criticism.
Yeah, I agree. That is a valid criticism. But my problem with that criticism is not from you, but where was that criticism at when Matt Stafford did it? Where was that criticism at when Carson Wentz is doing it right now? Where's that criticism at when Brett Favre did it? Where's that criticism at when any other quarterback in the league requested a trade, held his whole organization hostage, and got out of there? Where's that criticism at? It's not available to us. Why? Because it doesn't exist. Where is it at? I'm not. Again, I don't want to go on the whole racist track. I'm not doing that. Again, if you did want to do that, you may have an argument. But I'm just saying in general, where is it at? Because it doesn't exist. It's not available to us. Why? Where is it? Where? Like that it's just mind-boggling to me because we've seen this before. I know it's a little bit different with Deshaun Watson, but it's a little bit different with all these situations. Every situation is a little bit different than it was with the last person that did it. But he is not the first quarterback that said, hey, I do not like my organization and I want to go somewhere else. Eli Manning said, I don't want to go to this organization. I haven't even been there yet. I want to go somewhere else. Force a trade. Force them to not even, I can't even imagine. They forced him to not even play a snap. He didn't even have to play a snap. He got traded somewhere else. Where was the criticism, man? That's all I'm saying. Like, I can understand all the snapbacks and this and that. But Dick said himself, he said, all of Deshaun Watson's actions to this point has been positive. He's been a good little boy. He's been a good little boy so far. Now he needs his diaper changed. That motherfucker is not a child. He's not somebody that you own. You can't tell him what you want to tell him, and he supposed to react the same way. He's not a slave. This is not the 1900s, Dick. Like, I'm just being honest with you. It's not the 1900s. I know you were born early. I know you're coaching since 1960s, excuse me. But it's not that same time. And even you said in that time that you had to move away from racism and owning people and things of that nature. Well, you sound like the same person, Dick. You sound like the same exact person you sounded like in 1960. Maybe you should change. Maybe the owner should change. Maybe somebody else should change. It doesn't have to be Deshaun Watson. If I'm in the worst organization in the history of the NFL right now, then I want to move. And I reach out that same thing to people that's in the organizations in regular life that feel like they're in a bad organization. You should change. You should use your power to change. Again, I said last week, people are a little bit uncomfortable with you using your power. They don't like it. They don't accept it. They're just uncomfortable. It makes them feel weird. Like, wow, this guy that I pay is a little bit like backlash. He's giving me a little bit of mouth. Well, maybe you should. That's all I'm saying. Maybe you should. Maybe you should not accept that your organization is being a failure in what they do. But at the same time, you're expected to be the best that you can be. How? You're not putting any of the pieces around me that I should be successful, yet you require me to be successful. You're not being successful. At that same time, I'm dominating the league. I'm one of the best quarterbacks in the league. All I'm asking is a fair shot at my future. If that's wrong, then I don't want to be right. And that's all I got to say.
I just want to say, shout out to Kanye. Because he been on this train early. When he was doing it, everybody was calling him crazy. He was talking about new slaves. He was talking about these glass ceilings that go on behind closed doors. And everybody was telling Kanye, yo, you should be happy with where you at. You should be happy where your brand is now. You get paid all this money. How can you be a slave if you this? Or this is the exact situation that he was talking about. He was talking about these invisible walls or these glass ceilings that exist once we step out of the realm of what we're supposed to do. And Kanye, he was an artist. Once he started to talk about fashion, once he started talking about these brands or whatever, people behind the scenes were telling him to shut up and make a rap song, and he was getting mad about it. And he was lashing out. But I will say the response that Kanye got is kind of the response that Deshaun Watson is getting from a different community. How we treated Kanye in that situation is how the Brett Favres and the Dick Vermeils are treating Deshaun Watson. So I just want to take this moment to say, bro, Kanye, you still got shooters out here. I remember when you was fighting this fight, and now that it's not you and the shoe on the other foot, baby, you know what I mean? Your point can be driven home. But I agree with what you said. I just, wish Kanye got that same benefit of the doubt,
I don't have no arguments for you. I ain't got no, I don't want no smoke with these Kanye arguments. You got it.
Still got shooters out here, bro.
Yeah, you got it. Because you're right. Why? Because you're right. It's not as if you said something wrong and I don't want to argue about it. It's not that. You're correct. You're actually really
exactly. That's what I'm saying, bro. This is why you gotta attack the argument and not the person, because you gotta stand up for the legitimacy, because it's gonna get flipped on you in the future. Mm-hmm. And if you make an opinion based on this person, once it gets flipped on you, now you're gonna be looking like a hypocrite. Because I can sure enough pull Charlamagne saying something completely different when it's Kanye, and then when Deshaun Watson is in the situation, he's gonna have a completely different stance. So that's why we gotta stay on the argument and not the person, because people come and go, but their sentiment is gonna be, universal. So we can't paint ourselves into a future corner because we don't like these people.
But I'm on Brett neck. I'm on Brett neck.
That's what I'm saying. I don't disagree with you.
I'm on Brett neck because your Wrangler wearing ass. You was wearing them Wranglers while you was requesting the trade. Brett, you was wearing them Wranglers, Brett. I know you had them on, Brett. At the same time you was doing that, Brett. At the same time, the Capitol Hill people that was running up on the Capitol Hill, they was wearing them Wranglers. You was still supporting them, Brett. And at that same time you was doing that, was the same time in 2007, Brett, when you requested a trade, Brett. And in 2008, 9, and 10, Brett, you was holding the Green Bay Packers hostage, Brett. In them same Wranglers, Brett. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Dick, get your old ass out of here, Dick. Don't nobody want to talk to nobody named Dick, Dick. That's all I'm saying, Dick. Get out of here, Dick. Get your old ass out of here.
What Lil Nas X say? Right in the jacuzzi, Wrangler on my booty.
That's all I'm saying. I'm telling you, Brett. I'm telling you, Brett. The Wranglers on the booty 2019.
He had the Wranglers on the booty.
We still remember, Brett. I'm not that old, Brett. I still remember that was pretty new, Brett.
Oh, bro. Chill, bro. He had the Wranglers on the booty.
Saying, Brett. I'm just saying, Brett. You the same motherfucker that was salty that Aaron Rodgers doing better than you, Brett. I'm just saying, Brett.
Oh man, let's get to some positivity before you turn into Courtside Kevo. Get Courtside Kevo, man.
Bro, go ahead, get lit, man. Get the positivity shit. I need a little bit. Go ahead, get the positivity out, man. Let's get the positivity next.
All right, man. In the spirit of we talked about so many sports topics, I just wanted to highlight another member in the sports community. So I wanted to shout out Fred VanVleet. Recently, he just had a 54-point game, and that performance not only broke the franchise record for the Toronto Raptors of most points in a game, he also broke the NBA record for most points scored by an undrafted player. And I think that's so significant because reason why we talk about, or all the things that we talked about in this podcast, is just things that affect our culture. You know, you got music, you got crime, you got athletics, and those seem like those are the stereotypical things that are driven home in our community, and those are examples of success. So when you see people actually make it, it just means that much more. And when you see real people make it, it just holds a little bit more weight and gives hope that more people can do it. And so many people in the hood, or so many people from where I'm from, they just have hoop dreams, or they had hoop dreams. And to persevere into it to the point where I still make it to the NBA, even though I didn't get drafted, and I get onto a team, I become a champion, and I go on to score the most points from an undrafted player. It just shows. That's why I had to bring Nipsey back in the background. The demonstration, bro. We need a demonstration of how it can be done, because that has a monumental effect on the people coming after us. This podcast wouldn't exist if it weren't for radio personalities or other prominent members in our community making podcasts and showing us that it can be done. So for somebody like Fred VanVleet making it to the NBA, even though he didn't get drafted, and to go on and break these NBA records, I just think that that's dope, and it should be highlighted in our community. So shout out to Fred VanVleet for that career night that he had.
And he got a ring.
Facts.
He got a ring. And he earned that.
Facts.
He wasn't on the bench. He earned that. Bear with me with my my positive shout out, because my positive shout out was actually going to be to the GameStop shareholders that actually sell theirs, because there's a lot of different stories I heard about a 8-year-old that their mom bought them some GameStop shares, and they actually sold that. They actually bought some pizza parties to the whole class. I heard about GameStop shareholders that sell and actually went to GameStop and held out and handed out $100 bills. I heard a lot of things about GameStop shareholders, and I understand that, and it's really beautiful. And I just wanted to highlight that. So I might have two. Let's say I have two, because my next one is to Peter Eddy, a member of Parliament, and he actually nominated the Black Lives Matter movement to a Nobel Peace Prize. And you might say, well, why can he actually do that? Who is he? Any national person can actually nominate somebody or something for a Nobel Peace Prize. So if you're a national person of the government or anything like that, you can actually nominate somebody for a Nobel Peace Prize. So I actually nominated the Black Lives Matter movement for a Nobel Peace Prize. And it's actually very important and very powerful that he actually nominated them, right? Because I'm not saying they're going to win. I'm not saying they should win or shouldn't win. They've had their ups and downs. Even with me, even as a black man in America, I feel like they've had their ups and downs. But for a Norwegian person to actually say hey, these people have actually made an important impact on our state, on our country, right? On our continent. That's a big deal. It's a big deal to be noticed from another continent that, hey, these people and what they're doing is really important to me. And so he actually notified them. He actually notified the Nobel Peace Prize. He said that, hey, I really appreciate them. I appreciate what they're doing. I appreciate what they stand for. And that same kind of commitment to what they're doing stands for right now. Stands for what we're doing here in this continent. So I appreciate that. Again, this is a short positive shout from the Who My podcast. But again, it's a big deal. I know I had kind of two. It's kind of cheating, but this is what I like. This I was looking up this and I seen that. That's what I like.
Yeah, man. Good to know that you still got some positivity in there, because you went full Courtside Kevo doing that last segment.
Bruh, which I don't know. y'all gonna keep not knowing.
Oh man,
y'all gonna keep not knowing what y'all don't know. So just know that all I can do.
I'm leaving this part in here because y'all have to understand how funny. I was trying so hard not to laugh when you were saying.
I'm sorry, bro. The Drake was talking to me, people. I'm sorry. The Drake was talking to me. So if y'all listen to this and y'all think damn, Kevo talking kind of bullshit, just know the Drake was talking to me.
It's funny, dog, because you started so like the beginning of this episode, I was like, bro, this is one of Kevo's best episodes, by far, bro. I need to step aside and let this man go.
Oh my God.
And then you fell off that cliff hard.
Oh my God, I hit that Max Kellerman cliff.
The cliff that Tom Brady was supposed to fall off, bro.
I hit that, bro. Oh my God, that is funny. That's funny. I need to go eat something, bro. That's what I need to go do.
Yes, bro. You need some food, bro. You need some milk. I
was supposed to go get some running shoes later, and I was like,
what? Somebody get this dude.
Let me eat some, bro.
Before Kevo go to eat, man, we appreciate everybody for tuning in each week. Man. We appreciate y'all for making this possible, bro. Because I live for moments like these, man. Thank you. Check out our social media. Check out the website, man. We appreciate y'all.
Yeah, thank y'all for tuning in. This is Who Am I Pod.
Who am I? The girls them sugar.